After waking up at the Naked Winery, our harvest house, for the previous evening, we made a quick breakfast and then made the short 60-minute drive straight south to the Mammoth Site in Hot Springs, South Dakota. In 1947, Phil Anderson began levying a chunk of land for a housing development when an equipment operator discovered some unusual looking bones. After further investigation, it was discovered the bones were of a mammoth. Phil then donated the land and the bones to a non-profit organization, and in 1980, the museum that we know today was opened. Admission to the Mammoth Site is $12 for adults, $9 for kids and military, and $10 for any adults over 60. The Mammoth Site was formed back during the Ice Age, when the area the museum sits on now was completely filled in by a sinkhole, but at the bottom of the sinkhole was nutrients where the mammoth got enticed to go down into, but when they tried to escape, realized the sides were too steep and they were unable to escape, so they eventually died of starvation or drowning. Over time, the site was filled in until it was discovered by the construction crew. The museum had a nice self-guided tour, which used an app that you download on your phone and these numbers that you see on the screen share little tidbits about the spot that you're looking at. We headed north out of Hot Springs on our way to Custer State Park, and we went through Wind Cave National Park, but were unable to go into the cave because the elevator was being fixed. But while we were in Wind Cave National Park, we saw buffalo! After our close buffalo encounter at Wind Cave National Park, we continued north and eventually made it to Custer State Park, which is 71,000 acres nestled in the Black Hills. The fee for Custer State Park is $20 per vehicle, and that's good for a week-long pass. So if you're there for multiple days, you can come back to the park and you only had one fee. Since we only had one day there, we went to Sylvan Lake. This was one of the few times in the trip where the size of our vehicle prevented us from doing something, but we really wanted to do the Needles Highway, which was a 14-mile road that started at Sylvan Lake and headed south, but due to the size of the RV, we were unable to, and we didn't want to get stuck. So instead, we just did this 1 mile Sylvan Lake loop, which was mostly flat loop around the lake, and it was a nice way to hike. Fans of National Treasure might recognize Sylvan Lake from the scene when they go to Mount Rushmore, and this is the lake that is behind Mount Rushmore.
There's snow flying. Snow.
Oh yeah, it snowed that day. But as we got onto our hike, the sun did come out, and while we went on to our hike, some of us settled in for our afternoon nap after lunch. Hiking around Sylvan Lake, we headed to the Crazy Horse Memorial. The admission price to the memorial depends on the number of people in your vehicle. Since we only had 2 people, it was $30 for us, but check the website before going. Now, the admission only got you access to the visitor center, which did add some nice exhibits on the Native Americans, plus it had some pictures on what the memorial will look like once it's completed. The memorial has been under construction since 1948 and is far from completion. My personal opinion is it was not worth the admission because all you could really see was the memorial from a distance. For an extra, I believe it was over $100, you could go up to the actual memorial up top, but that didn't seem worth the price for us. So we just walked around the visitor center, took some video, took some photos, and left. We had one more stop to make before heading to our campsite for the night. And the nice thing about today is we didn't drive very many miles, which is a theme of the RV trip. We broke it up. Some days were long days of driving, other days were not. So our final stop, of course, being that we're in the Black Hills, is at Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore was completed in 1941 and of course depicts the faces of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. The fee to get into Mount Rushmore was $10 for vehicles. Since this was a national monument, the standard National Park Pass did not work here. There are plenty of hiking trails around the monument, but since we had done hiking and plenty of sightseeing for the day, we just sat and enjoyed the view before we headed to our KOA in Deadwood. Before heading to our campsite in Deadwood, we made a stop at Lake Pactola to just get a nice shot of the lake, and even our furry friend got a couple camera shots. Alright, we just got to Deadwood, just got to our KOA, and it's a fun time. It's time to see how this goes. Time to rinse the gray and black water tank. Got my gloves on. Alright, while I'm doing that, I'm going to just explain a little bit about the campsite. Our KOA for this evening was $49, and with Cruise America, you get 10% off, which we didn't really know how to do that at time of booking. So at the front desk, if you just say that you're with Cruise America, they'll give you the 10% off as a refund to the payment method that you did. Basically, dumping this was super simple. As you can see, you just pull the black water tank lever first, and then you pull the gray water tank, and that does everything for you. Cool. And then you close these. Close up, and that's it. Then tomorrow we'll dump it again. They said not to leave them open because it could cause the tube to plug. So we'll keep these shut for now. We're good. Nothing too crazy happened with the whole dump situation, so that's good. We're here at our KOA in Deadwood. Highly would recommend this place. It's just outside town. We're doing the full hookups, so we're able to dump, be on the electric, have our outlets work. We can dump all our cameras and everything and get ready for the next couple of days. So I got my Packer jersey on. We're ready to watch the game. And we're going to go. And tomorrow we're on to a new state for both of us, Wyoming. So thanks for coming along for the journey today through the Black Hills, Custer State Park, and seeing Mount Rushmore. We broke our mic, so it's going to be a little less talking, which I'm sure you won't be upset about. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Beer out of my plastic cup.